WWE champion than Jinder Mahal? The worst wrestler who'd be better than Jinder.
Purely wrestling ability or as a character?
It's whichever way you want to interpret the question of the day.
I would say, I mean, the easy answer for me is Percy Watson, but I want to think more outside the box than that. Oh yeah, I want to think slightly more outside the box than that. For some reason, and I don't know why, the first name that came into my head was Michael Tarver.
You may need to explain that answer as to in what way was he better than anyone at anything apart from wearing a bandana when a bandana was not an appropriate thing to wear.
Well, I think as soon as you said worst wrestler, that was just my first thought. My brain didn't bother to listen to anything after you said worst wrestler. So I think
if the question was worst wrestler, I'd give you the points myself. I'd say Michael Tarver, boom, in the bag.
Dallas in his Bo Leave gimmick.
Oh, the streak.
Yes, I think
if the streak. But so is he thinking? So he debuted after WrestleMania 30, I think it was.
Yeah.
So what if instead of Seth Rollins winning Money in the Bank, you have Bo Dallas go on a streak, win Money in the Bank, Bo Dallas catches in on the main event of WrestleMania.
Yes. Just imagine it.
And then we just stop watching wrestling because it's peaked. It's simply peaked.
Yeah, I was going to say. Can you imagine though? Brock and Roman are down. They're down for the count, and then all of a sudden, Bo just starts victory lapping around the ring. That would have been. That would have been even better than swinging the title.
What's the bit he did when he ran around the ring and just hip checked El Torito, just knocked him out. See, I would have gone with Ryback.
Ooh.
Or Curtis Axel, because I quite like Curtis Axel.
Yeah, I did actually think of him as well, but maybe, it would work. At least he'd have the story of he's Mr. Perfect's son.
I got Natalia 3 Divas Championships, so I mean, and that was her uncle. She never mentioned her dad once on television. Her dad was her uncle's tag team partner. They never mentioned her dad. There's this week, well, a couple of days ago now. WWE announced the next edition of the 2K Games franchise, WWE 2K23. I think John Cena was revealed as the cover star and the featured wrestler in the 2K showcase mode. What do you think about John Cena being the star of this game?
Initially, I was excited about it because obviously he's had a 20-year career. He's had some. How many WrestleMania main events he had? Is it 5?
I think it was 5 or 6. He had Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Rock, Miz. Is that it? 5? Yeah, 5, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 5. And he's had a lot of other big matches at WrestleMania and other big shows.
Big match, John.
As soon as I heard it, I was excited. But then the news that came out today that you're not actually going to be playing as Cena, you're going to be playing against him in matches that he lost, I think is actually really good. I think it shakes up the entire mode.
That's the best bit of news I heard from it, because I do like Rey Mysterio. I'm a big Mysterio head, or whatever they call his fans. Probably nothing, because it's stupid. But the first match you against Eddie Guerrero, that was fun being Rey Mysterio. Second match you playing against I don't know, Edge or whatever. You're facing Kane in 2010. I'm really bored of being Rey Mysterio now. I'm really bored of being Rey Mysterio.
It was also the fact that his finishers on the game are so annoying.
They're so convoluted to set up. Opponent on the ground.
That was the real problem.
With the new controls as well. You've got to get on the outside is a task in itself, just figuring out what to do. None of this easy pressing L1 for everything. That was way too easy. That was too simple for us to do.
It's definitely not a mode. Well, that certainly wasn't a mode to play when you first pick up the game. I think you got to put probably 50 hours into figuring out how the game works.
That's what I did. I lost to Eddie Guerrero. I lost to Batista. I've still not unlocked them. I've not played the game a lot, but I've not unlocked those two yet.
I got through it eventually, but it was a slog. As you say, it's the same. It's not just the same wrestler every time. It's having to end every match in the same way or same finishes, it just got really repetitive. Whereas playing against Cena, I think is genius personally. I think it completely completely freshens up the mode that, while I think it's a good concept, I think it does get quite stale quite quickly.
There was the one they did with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I thought was really good, because you had him in ECW, you had him in WCW. It was all different. The last 10 matches were all the same thing. They got a bit samey. But you were fighting like Mikey Whipwreck in ECW. That was great. So 6.
That's what it's all about.
Only 6 matches have been confirmed so far of the 13 that are rumoured to be in the showcase mode. Have you heard what matches?
It's only 13.
Yeah, same as last year. Have you heard the 6 matches that have been confirmed so far?
I did read them earlier, but
Anywhere
I
in
forgot
particular? Yeah.
I remember. I think the Lesnar one's on there, isn't it, from SummerSlam 2014?
That's not been confirmed as far as I'm aware.
Has it not?
If you go to Atletifo.com, you can read the full match list of the ones confirmed so far. But so far, the 6 confirmed are: there's John Cena versus Kurt Angle from his debut on SmackDown, which means the Big Fist is in the game. You got.
Was that match on a previous showcase as well?
I don't believe so, because Kurt Angle's not been in the game for a while. I don't think.
Yeah. You do play as young. You play against young Cena in the Daniel Bryan one a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
He has long yellow trousers on, like puff.
Yeah, I remember seeing the awful trunks. I had that burnt on my retinas for quite a while.
Yeah, you got John Cena against Rob Van Dam from ECW One Night Stand. That'll be a good one, because then you've got the ECW Arena in the game as well. If you want to do an ECW Universe mode. You got John Cena versus Batista, SummerSlam 08. Which I think of...
I barely remember that.
They had a better feud like 2 years later, when Batista went heel. I think that was a face face.
Yeah, they did.
That was when Cena just came back after winning the Rumble. You got Cena Rock, obviously, from WrestleMania 28. Which you could play in, is it 14 with the Road to WrestleMania? Every other years of WrestleMania, you could do that one.
Yeah, I loved that mode. That's my favourite one so far, I think.
You got John Cena versus the Undertaker, WrestleMania 34. Gonna be a short one, but if you scoff at that, you're really gonna hate the next one. John Cena versus Roman Reigns, SummerSlam 2011. Sorry, 2022. Yeah, 2021. What's wrong with me? Yeah, Roman Reigns versus John Cena, SummerSlam 21, which was a complete nothing match that was a rehash of their Battleground 2016 match, which was also terrible.
God, I have absolutely no recollection of that match.
I'm sure I watched it.
I probably did watch it as well.
It was just...
or at least I saw some clips of it, but God, I don't remember that at all.
Cena came back at the Money in the Bank. The first time in like 2 years.
Yes, yeah, I do.
And then lost to him and left again, and then came back in, what was it, last week or whatever, to wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
yeah, I remember now. He was only back for about a fortnight.
I think he was there for one show.
Oh, yeah.
So, they're the matches so far confirmed. What do you think about the list so far, and which ones would you want included on top of that?
I think, obviously, that's not even half of the final list, but I think it's a good start. There are... You didn't say Cena versus Orton at any point there, did you?
No, that's not confirmed yet.
Yeah, because, I mean, they've got plenty to choose from there.
Do you want to do the Iron Man match, or the submission match, or whatever other weird ones they did? The one I'd like with Randy Orton is the WrestleMania 24 match, Cena versus Orton versus Triple H.
Yeah.
You get actual...
Yeah, that was good, and Orton retained as well, didn't he? So that would be interesting to have a triple threat match on there as well, not just every match being singles matches.
I think it's something like Triple H pedigreed Cena, then Orton punted him in the head and then pinned him.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. It was quite a similar finish to how Jeff Hardy won the title that year, wasn't it? Triple H hit the pedigree and he
swantomed him.
Was covering Edge as Jeff hit him like mid cover, so it was kind of similar.
There was great camera work on that, because you could don't see Jeff until he lands on
good.
Triple H, and you're like, oh my god. Knowing Jeff, he
good,
probably
yeah.
jumped from the top. He climbed the entire arena, jumped on the top. I know in WWE camera work,
He was a lot quicker back
but
then.
in WWE,
Might
their
have got
camera
there.
work, they probably missed the entire thing and just saw that. As Jeff crumbles into dust from falling up from 4,000 feet. So what are the...
I'm surprised they've not done some real stunt like that with Jeff, though, to be fair.
He probably asked them to, and they were like, you're going to die, Jeff. He was like, yeah, but I'm not, though, am I? Like, oh, you're right, though. You're not going to die, because you're Jeff Hardy. Nothing can kill you.
It was the fact his first ever injury was from a motorbike, wasn't it?
Yeah, he broke his leg or something, didn't he?
Yeah. He'd never had a broken bone in his life until then, which is baffling when you think of what he'd done.
The one in TNA, he's on the top of a cage door, and he falls off and just falls with his spine on the edge of the steel steps. And you're like, how are you not just paralysed?
That was disgusting.
How are you not constantly being paralysed by your various
I hated
stunts?
that so much.
So any other matches you'd like to see on the game mode?
It's all for our entertainment, though.
Yeah.
Let's think. Definitely the Royal Rumble triple threat with Brock and Rollins.
I forgot about that one. That's a really good one.
Cena doesn't win that, does he?
No, Brock retains. Yeah, 'cause he'd be-
Brock won
that's
that,
an amazing one. That's one of probably the best triple threat I've ever seen. Although
Absolutely, I can't think of any.
I can think of one that beats it, and it's not the one that was Lesnar, Kane, Braun Strowman, because of course it wasn't. My favourite triple threat has got to be Kenny Omega against Pac against Orange Cassidy, because I was so convinced that despite being in the middle of the Kenny Omega Adam Page story, that Orange Cassidy would win the title and ruin the whole thing. I was fully convinced.
Yeah, that was one of those matches where going into it, it was so obvious he was going to win, and yet they got you so many times throughout.
He had him beat. He had him beat so many times. Don Callis ruined it for everyone. God, I'm furious.
Wrestling should do that, though, shouldn't it? I think wrestling should draw you in, even when you don't expect anything to go against the status quo. I think it should be able to catch you off guard, I suppose.
Yeah, it's quite predictable a lot because it's a children's television program and we're adults. But sometimes I just want him to win so badly, I'm going to forget all logic and just start screaming at the television at 4 o'clock in the morning. So some of the matches that annoyingly will miss out is Cena against CM Punk at Money in the Bank 2011, which was I think it was the WWE's first 5-star match, like since the Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Yeah,
which is now it's every 10 minutes is a new 5-star match. So they mean nothing now.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other one, Daniel Bryan against Cena at SummerSlam in 2013, which was also.
Yeah, I take it they can't use anyone that's in AEW, so there won't be any Cena Jericho matches
I forgot about
either.
Jericho as well. Did he? Do I remember anybody ever fighting Jericho? Really? Did he ever fight Jericho? He probably did at some point, but
they feuded at the end of 2008 or 9, I believe. Of the house shows in April 2009, so I think they'd had a feud at the end of 2008.
Go back and watch them. I don't.
Possibly even at Armageddon, the show that Jeff won, WWE title. I think they might have had a feud for the world title then.
Because Jericho had feuded with Shawn Michaels, didn't he, over the belt as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's another one they couldn't have. I imagine they'll have his feud with Kevin Owens when Owens first debuted with the NXT title. When he was still NXT champion.
That match. I remember that match. I ran to my brother's room and was like, "What is going on?" Because John Cena did not lose at that point. He did not lose.
Yeah, that was. What was that? 2015. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. 2015. Cena was US champion after WrestleMania.
Back then, it was even more of a shock.
He just beaten Rusev for the US title at WrestleMania, despite Rusev entering on a tank. How can you enter on a tank with the Russian military, despite you being Bulgarian, but that's beside the point, on a tank, and then just lose because John Cena just, gosh darn shucks, loves America so much? Because he pretends to be a Marine. Some will call it acting in a film, but that's stolen valor. But speaking of matches that John Cena should have lost, that should be included in the game, like if you look back at all the matches where you think, you know what, John Cena should have not won there, you could fit 30 matches in this mode.
Yeah, they'd have to spread it across 2 games, I think.
The Damien Sandow Money in the Bank cash in. Now, should he have been World Heavyweight Champion? Maybe not. But don't waste his Money in the Bank cash in. Let him win for like 10 minutes. That's another one. Better than Jinder Mahal. Damien Sandow. He should have. Shouldn't have beaten Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30.
Glaring one for me.
I mean, they could. If they include the one where he wins the cage match because the quiet of children scare John Cena,
that's
then
probably the most frustrated I've ever been at a feud, I would say.
Because Bray Wyatt was like the best thing in the world at the time. He was so good. And he was like the next Undertaker. And he'd beaten everyone. And then John Cena came and just killed him completely. And then he never really recovered until he made that telly blow up in Dean Ambrose's face for some reason.
That's been the theme of Bray's career, though, is coming out on the wrong end of feuds.
We didn't really won any feuds after that Cena one for a couple of years.
And every feud seemed to just weaken him further for me.
Like, whoever feuds with Chris Jericho in AEW. Just goes on forever and they come out worse at the end. Also, the one I'd like to see, which won't work because the game doesn't work properly, but the Team Cena versus Team Nexus at SummerSlam 2010, 2009?
Yeah. Was that 5 on 5 or 6 on 6?
We had old...
Oh, wow.
I believe it was 7 on 7. You had old man Bret Hart was in it. Young man Daniel Bryan. The Miz wasn't allowed on the team.
They replaced him with Bryan, with his rookie, wasn't it? Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
John Morrison, I believe.
Despite Bryan being fired, like... But John Morrison? I think Edge and Chris Jericho were. And then
R-Truth?
John Cena.
Was he heel then?
God, I hope not. That's not going to entice me to buy the game. Oh, R-Truth on this one.
Who else are you going to have beat Undertaker at WrestleMania on Universe Mode?
See, before, the joke was always that they always made Jey Uso beat him. But now it's like, well, Jey Uso is actually good now, so it's not really as funny. Like, yeah, I see it.
The way the feuds are going at the moment, like, I wouldn't even be against Jey Uso having like a real big solo run.
I don't know how shit Jimmy Uso feels. Like, I'm the exact same person. How is he getting more things than me? We couldn't be more the same.
Face paint's on the other side of his face, though. Or was. That was how I did.
One of us is married to Naomi. I'm not sure which one of us.
That's Jimmy, I believe.
It was, because it was in it. Jimmy had face paint on the right, because Jimmy has 5 letters like right.
Is that actually it?
That was the trick. That was the trick to remembering. Not that you ever needed to remember, because it never came up who was who.
I think one of them wore a...
I think it was called John.
A shirt, and one didn't at one point as well. And Jimmy's like 20 pounds heavier as well, which made it a bit easier.
But no...
Yeah.
Was he? I don't remember that much, to be honest. I remember my weird way of right has 5 letters, so does Jimmy, which could have been made up, and that could be Jay.
It worked for you, though, so...
It could be. Right has 5 letters. Or right hasn't got 4 letters. Neither does Jay, so... So with the game coming out in March, I believe it's out, what sort of things are you looking at to improve from last year? I know you were big on GM mode, weren't you?
I love GM mode as a concept. And looking back to previous GM modes, 2008, 2007, blah, 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 they were so much better than last year's. Last year's, by comparison, it's so primitive, and it's really quite disappointing. It's still fun because it's kind of like a teaser of what GM mode should be, I would say. But it's missing so much. It's
what sort of stuff is it
well,
missing?
I mean, first and foremost, if you look at SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, which came out 15 years before or 14 years before. On that one, you could actually choose storylines, specific storylines that only certain wrestlers could be involved in. So there was a David versus Goliath one where you had to use a super heavyweight and a cruiserweight. There were specific tag team storylines, handicap storylines, ones made for legends, and you could buy them on the store. Whereas on this one, it's granted it's accurate to how WWE is in terms of feuds are based on people facing each other every single Raw, every single week. But like, there's no variation with the feuds. They don't feel like feuds. It's just words on a screen, you know.
Yeah,
and it's not always straightforward how to start a feud. Sometimes you'll put two people in a match and nothing will happen, and then sometimes you'll put two people in a match and then all of a sudden they're feuding when you don't want them to be, and you end up with like.
Just sounds like they sort of made like a mobile version of GM mode and gone, we'll just stick it on the game.
It is, yeah. It's a bit like that. The AEW mobile game. It's just.
Oh, that was dreadful. I played that about 5 minutes and went, "This is just awful. This is." I don't get it.
I don't quite know what they were going for, really. It's never going to work as a GM mode, and it was kind of like between multiple different games, wasn't it? It wasn't GM mode. It wasn't like a card collector game. It was kind of neither.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the point of the game was. You like book a show, but booking a show is just putting your biggest guys against each other and getting like a score based on the biggest guys, which is just pointless.
It didn't really go anywhere. I mean, maybe they've improved it since. I haven't played it since, well, a week after it came out, but it's
about 2 years ago now. I think,
so maybe it's better now, but who knows? But yeah, going back to 2K's GM mode, I think, as I said, first and foremost, the feuds on the game were so limited. It was quite difficult to actually progress feuds without just putting them in the same match against each other every week.
You sort of want more varied ways to get a feud, like angles.
Yeah, specific storylines for specific wrestlers as well. It was so random, and like the fact that you had to have face bruiser against a heel fighter, or you had to have that matchup, or else you'd be penalised for it. So you ended up basically having to run the same matches every single week, because if you put two faces against each other, you'd get a really low mark, or if you put a face cruiserweight against a heel cruiserweight, you get a low mark.
Can you imagine, like, you watch Raw and we're going to do, I don't know, Sami Zayn against Cody Rhodes, and they go, that match was amazing, but exactly. I liked them both, so it was crap.
It was too basic in that sense, and also the fact that you couldn't. The match types were so limited as well. I think it was.
What match types do they have?
It was only 1-on-1 or tag team. You couldn't. And
what?
I don't think you couldn't do triple threat or fatal 4-way or 6-man. It was literally just 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. And I think there were only 4 match types. 4 alternatives to a normal match. There was tables, which was the cheapest one, so you end up just running tables matches every week. TLC, ladder, and Hell in a Cell. I think possibly steel cage as well. But that was it. That was all you could run.
Well, sure, on the old one, you could do like Buried Alive matches and Hell in a Cell matches and TLC on fire matches.
And you could do handicap matches and 6-man tags, and there were so many more options. Like, as I said, I would compare last year's GM mode to WWE 2K15, which was the first game where it moved up from PS3 to PS4, and in that it just it felt really stripped back, like they were trying to build from the ground up again while still releasing one game a year. So it just felt like we're giving you 20% of the actual content that you would normally expect, because if you compare 2K14 to 2K15, it's almost like you got a demo of the game, and it felt like that with GM mode for me.
Yeah, because 2K14 was probably the best one.
I think it's my favourite wrestling game ever. It's disingenuous for me to say like
the gameplay was fun.
Here Comes the Pain, because I didn't grow up playing them. But yeah, 2K14 for me, I think it's the most complete wrestling game.
I love the Undertaker streak mode. You had to beat the Undertaker, but it was on like super duper legendary.
Yeah.
But you'd win. You just knock. I don't know. You knock the referee down, just beat him with a chair until he's got like red health, and you got four finishes stored up. It was just that you couldn't, because he reversed every move you did unless you beat him up with a chair.
Yeah, I'm not convinced I ever won a match on that fairly.
Oh God,
because
no.
he'd reverse your finishes as well.
I remember trying to beat him with. You had to do it. There was a trophy for doing it with every person who was in the game, who was part of the streak. So obviously, people who aren't on the game, you didn't do, like Yokozuna, but everyone who was on the game, you had to beat him with to get a trophy. And I did them all. The last I did was Kevin Nash, because he was so slow. By the time you picked the chair up, Undertaker sat up and was chokeslamming you. That was just, like, I'll make sure if I can reverse his finishes, eventually
fun mode,
get him with a chair.
Because that one had the 30 years of WrestleMania as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a really good game, that was. With loads of different modes. And the creative storyline mode. I love that.
And creative finisher. So yeah, like as I was saying, with GM mode on 2K22 is the WWE 2K15 of GM modes for me. It's on the way to being good, but it's not good. It's also the fact that you're given such a strict. Have you played it? Because the issue with GM mode as well, another issue is it's so restrictive with the budget that you have. You're given $2.75 million to spend, but the good wrestlers are usually like 250,000 on their own, and you need to have some money left over. So you end up having a roster of like 12 people, which means that when you're running, say, 4 matches on a card, and you've also got the 3 promo slots as well, you end up having to use everyone, so everyone's always exhausted. And then you get to say like WrestleMania, for example, and you have to book 5 or 6 matches, and you haven't got the roster to do it. So
they're all knackered.
You end up with people getting injured, or and because you're so restricted to, you have to have a heel cruiserweight against a face giant and that sort of thing. You're so restricted in the matches that you can do. You end up basically just rehashing the same feuds over and over again, unless you get the specialists who can face anyone.
So that's why I think the worst thing to happen to games in the last 15 years now probably is they got rid of cheats in the games. Cheats in games were the best. Like the old games, you could like use a cheat to get infinite money, buy all the legends and stuff, and just have massive Royal Rumbles for everyone in the game. Like, there's one. It wasn't a cheat per se, but you could on 7 or 8 they had a WWE Universe mode, which was like a crap career mode basically. But if you just holidayed, like in FIFA,
Yeah.
holiday to end season. If you did that, you'd still get paid. Like your
Yeah.
guy would earn the same amount of money, so you could just buy all the characters. Wasn't a cheat, but I certainly felt like I was cheating something. Probably myself out of the joy of playing the game mode. But I just wanted to play with. I was like, who's this Sabu guy? He looks cool.
Yeah, that's a loophole. I think you can let yourself off there.
Yeah. But yeah, they had and unlocking all the characters in the game is an absolute bore. There's so many of them, and you get about, if you do a 5-star match on Legendary, you get in 800 of those virtual money things. And a character is 2,000.
You have to put so many hours into it.
Have got the time. But then if you do that and unlock them all, I've played 1,000 games now. I don't want to play as Stephanie McMahon 20. Of all the Stephanie McMahon, no.
They've I feel like they've backed themselves into a corner with that as well, because people aren't going to want to play that much of it to get coins to unlock to tanker. No one cares that much. Just
I think they should. That's why I like the showcase mode, because it locks characters behind an objective, which I think they should be, not just buy them with these fake coins. If it was unlock Undertaker by winning 3 in a row at WrestleMania, unlock Hulk Hogan by winning a tag team match with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash or something. Do some sort of way to unlock. You can put on the game somewhere how to unlock and give you a hint. That'd be a fun way of doing it. I'd unlock them all. If I had to, unlock, Tatanka by.
No,
well, I wouldn't do that one.
That's
wouldn't
when you
do
leave
that
to
one.
the end if there's a trophy for
it's
it.
A bad choice. Yeah. Hey, speaking of the legends in the game, you've seen the pre-order content.
I did have a look. I couldn't quite. I mean, I didn't read what the tiers meant, but the most expensive is the icon tier that gets you. Is it deluxe and ruthless aggression content?
Yeah, you get Bad Bunny for pre-ordering, which we all want. Bad Bunny. Of all the bunnies, he's the worst. Oh, the naughtiest of all the bunnies. But if you get the icon edition, you get the OVW versions of Brock Lesnar, Batista, Randy Orton, and John Cena. So you got John Cena as the prototype, Batista as the Leviathan, and then Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton as just them as when they were really young. And once again, Shelton Benjamin has been left out, despite being there the entire time with the four of them and being Brock Lesnar's best friend. He's not included. You get a bunch of other stuff, there'll be DLC down the line and unlock my faction.
Presumably, it comes with the season pass, which will get you all the DLC. You'd hope, anyway.
Yeah, and you get the thing you can buy to unlock everything, which is stupid. I refuse to buy it. I just will not play with Triple H number 4. So what sort of legends would you want added into the game that they haven't been in for a while, or just
they tend to get all the ones in that you want to see, and then a few more that you're like, why the hell is this guy in the game?
Not the ones I want, and the term legend is used very loosely. I really want the Great Khali back in.
You fine with that?
The funniest match ever, I think it was on 14, it was Great Khali versus Andre the Giant. But Andre the Giant had Sin Cara's moves, and Great Khali had Rey Mysterio's moves.
Amazing.
It was the slowest Hurricane Run that you've ever seen in your life. I think it was Hell in a Cell.
That would
they
have
were
been
flying
one
off the top.
Iron Man match.
I also want, for contrast, Hornswoggle.
Yeah, why not?
Because he was in, I think, 2008 as a manager.
There was a way you could play as him. I think if you jailbroke your PSP, you could actually play as Hornswoggle.
Well, maybe it was a glitch that I couldn't do or something, as well, I think. I also want Paul Logan and Brian Kendrick.
That's very heavily pushing the definition of legend.
Yeah, I would say Hornswoggle is I would classify him as maybe a legend. He's been the Cruiserweight champion for like 15 years, so I mean, if that's not legendary, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about his involvement over those years, he was Vince's son, he was the GM, he was Cruiserweight champ. Like, he did a lot.
He was in DX for a brief period.
Not everyone gets to be in DX. Hornswoggle did, so yeah, why not?
I know, a lot of them did, but not all
I'll go
of
one
them.
step further. We need a Hornswoggle showcase mode.
Yeah, all his the Cruiserweight Open, him versus Jamie Noble, him versus Chavo.
Mini Royal Rumble they did, where they had that was so funny.
yeah.
I don't know what's the politically correct term to describe it as now, but it was.
Let's just call it Mini Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. People can fill in the gaps there.
I'm gonna put a bleep on when you said that, just so.
Oh no! Oh no!
Everyone minds up. Redacted.
There was what else? Maybe some way of being able to blow up Jonathan Coachman under the ring, because that was funny.
Oh, what's the one where he did like a Looney Tunes tunnel on the side of on the wall?
You're not thinking of Community, are you?
And then.
Wow.
No, Hornswoggle did it once. I think it might have been with Jamie Noble or Chavo or Jonathan Coachman, or maybe all three at different points in his career.
Did he have JBL at one point as well? Oh,
JBL,
of course, yeah,
I think
JBL,
Finlay was against JBL.
Faced Finlay at WrestleMania 24, didn't he?
Yeah, he was sort of just a stand-in for Mr. McMahon.
Oh.
Because I think he probably... Did he wrestle again after that? Probably just the CM Punk match, I think. But yeah, so this is the petition starts here for the Hornswoggle showcase. I'll buy the Icon edition if it gets me... If they can find 13 Hornswoggle matches...
WLC.
Oh, WLC! WLC, of course.
I'd be happy with just a WLC showcase mode.
Well,
but you get to play as a different member of the match each time. You get to be El Torito. You get to be one of the tables that breaks. Like the options are endless.
So you're advocating for a mode where you can be Jinder Mahal but do nothing.
Yeah, that's the true Jinder Mahal way. Do nothing and then you get a title shot.
That's the best thing Jinder Mahal's ever done.
He does nothing better than he does anything, to be fair. So.
Okay, so now we'll move on to our Royal Rumble predictions. The Rumble is it this week or the week after? This weekend. So we probably should
3 days time.
Probably should do them now.
Yeah.
So who's?
Yeah. I think it loses its value if you do it after the show.
But you look a lot better doing it. If you go, I'm pretty sure. Like when Darren Brown predicted the lottery numbers just after they were shown on television. Oh, it's amazing! How did he do it? I think we're just going to do the actual Rumble match predictions rather than the whole card.
I mean, you say the whole card. There's only 5 matches.
That'll do the whole card then.
Yeah, I'll start with the one that is probably least interesting. It's Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss.
I think it's fairly obvious Bianca Belair is going to win that one. Start then. I assume wrestle somebody.
Yeah, I didn't even know they were feuding.
She'll wrestle somebody.
I don't watch least interesting.
WrestleMania.
It's Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss.
Like it's returning Naomi.
Is she coming back?
There's been rumours that they're hoping to get her back. I think
I didn't even know they were feuding.
Like she was hoping for a big deal in Japan, like Sasha Banks, and then Japan never called.
I mean, she's pretty good, but she's not Sasha Banks. Maybe Bianca will feud with Rhea or something, because they're both on.
Well, if you go to the women's Rumble prediction, I do think that Rhea Ripley is going to win the Rumble.
I may have spoiled that then. No. Yeah, I can't imagine her not winning. I can't actually think of who else could win it, really.
Becky could win it.
Maybe.
I know Charlotte's the champion, but she wins everything, so possibly Charlotte.
Bailey could win it, to be fair.
Wouldn't mind Bailey winning. I like Bailey. Go to the women's.
I'd actually be really happy if Bailey won it.
Yeah, considering Becky's won one already, she could win Bailey.
I may have spoiled that.
Yeah, she's the last of the 4.
Are the other members of Damage Control the tag champs at the moment?
I believe so. They won it and lost it and won it again, I think. At least they've currently got it. Oh, shocking, considering the immense amount of talent in the WWE Women's Tag Team division. of their no tag teams.
Bailey could win.
So we're both going for
Bailey
Rhea
win,
Ripley
like
to win the Rumble match, are we?
I'd actually be really happy if Bailey won it.
Yeah.
Becky
I
won one
don't.
already, you should give one to Bailey.
I'd like to see Bailey win it though. I
She's
think
the last of the four.
I want Bailey to win, but realistically, Rhea's going to win.
other members of?
But then I don't know who she'd feud with.
I say go with your heart.
So they won it and lost it. And
Yeah,
won it
you know
again.
what? I'll say Bailey. I think Bailey makes more sense from a storyline perspective. To like in terms of building storylines, you've got her competing for the women's title, and you've got the other two members of Damage Control as the tag champs. I think that creates more story than having one of the Judgment Day. I don't know. It doesn't really appeal to me as much. So yeah, I'll say Bailey.
I can see maybe like a Bailey Charlotte feud at Mania.
So we're both
But
going
also,
for Rhea Ripley
because
to win the,
Bailey's already lost to Bianca Belair a few times, and the only issue with Rhea Ripley is I can see her being in the men's rumble. I think she's been talking a lot about being in the men's rumble this year, which I can definitely see because she's absolutely massive.
I want Bailey to win, but that would be good actually. Maybe she'll win them both.
I say go. You'll do it. If I everything is it Cody, is it Sami? That's Rhea Ripley's going to win it.
Yeah.
So what are the other matches on the card?
Bailey makes more sense from a storyline perspective. Reigns versus Owens.
I mean,
in terms of building storylines, you've
foregone conclusion.
her competing
Famous
for
last
the
words. Foregone
very much
conclusion
title, and you've
that
got
Roman Reigns is winning
the
that
other two
one.
members of Damage Control,
The
the
question
tag
with
champs.
this match
I think
isn't
that
who's going to win;
creates
it's
more
how they're
story
going to win it. I would
than
say,
having
and
one of
what
the
ramifications are going to be.
Because I don't know, it doesn't
The
really.
the Sami Zayn storyline at the moment is
I'll say Bailey.
probably
I can see
the
maybe
best
like a
WWE
Bailey
storyline I've
Charlotte.
seen for a few years.
Yeah, definitely. I think,
But also
because well,
Bailey's
Reigns told
already
him
lost to
didn't he, on
Bianca
Monday
Belair
to he
a
had
few
to
times.
like a job for him, one last task.
And
Which I think is going to be either like win the Rumble to get him out to a WrestleMania match, or to help him beat Kevin Owens
this year, which I can definitely
So,
see, 'cause she's
I think-
absolutely massive.
Can you see a scenario where Zayn
that would be good.
turns
actually.
on
Maybe she'll win
Reigns,
both.
or do you think it's going to be the other way around? Do you think the
You'll do
Bloodline
it,
are going
but
to turn on
I
Sami?
think
Everything
it'll be the other way round. I think he'll win the Royal Rumble.
So what are the other
They'll
matches on
turn
the,
on
on the
him,
card?
and then he'll say, you know, I wasn't going to use this shot on your own Reigns because you know
Reigns versus
I'm
Owens.
Samoan
I
too,
think it's a
who
foregone
are and
conclusion.
such, and then he'll
Foregone
Very much
conclusion.
so.
wrestle
that,
Roman Reigns at
Roman Reigns
WrestMania,
won that
win the belt, despite being a comedy character or something.
Do you see the
question?
Do you see The
with
Rock
this
getting
match
involved?
isn't who's going to win? It's
Well,
how
I
they're
did
gonna win,
originally
I would
think
say.
The Rock was going to win
And
the Rumble,
what the
but
ramifications
I
are gonna
can't.
be.
What I've heard
The-
is that
the
The Rock
Sami
is not
Zayn
going to be
storyline at the
involved,
moment is
which is a
probably
shame.
That's what they
the
would
best
say
WWE
though.
storyline I've seen
But
in
yeah,
years.
they never say.
I think
Wait, is The Rock involved? I don't know. Maybe.
well, Reigns told him. didn't he, on
I don't know.
Monday
If he
to
wasn't
do
involved, they
a
would
job
say
for
maybe
him,
to get you to
one
watch it.
last task.
Yeah,
I
Basically,
think
it's
it'll be
inconclusive.
either
He might
win
be
the
or he might
Rumble
not be.
to get him out to.
And I hope that-
I think-
help him beat Kevin Owens.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's involved in the show
So,
in some way,
I think-
whether he's in the Rumble or
Can you see
whether
a
he
scenario where Zayn
maybe comes out
turns on
after
Reigns,
Reigns
or do you
retains
think
the title,
It's going to
possibly.
be the other way around. Do you think
Possibly.
Bloodline are going to
I don't
turn
really.
on
I
Zayn?
don't think. I don't know if maybe if
It'll
the
be
Sami
the other way
storyline's
round.
too good
I think
that you don't
he'll-
need to involve The Rock anymore.
He'll
But
win
they've
the
gone
Royal
to save The Rock for next
Rumble.
year.
They'll
Or-
turn on him.
That's what I want
Say,
them
I'd
to
rather
do, yeah.
Sami
I
win
wasn't
the
gonna
win the
use
belt
this shot on
than
Roman
The
Reigns,
Rock.
'cause, you know, I'm
But
Yeah.
if we go on to the men's Rumble
are
match
and
prediction, who have you got to
And
win
then
the
he'll-
actual
he'll
men's Royal Rumble
wrestle
match?
Roman Reigns at WrestMania.
I'm
win the
gonna
belt.
hold off on answering that for a sec because there is one more match that is less
Despite being a
interesting
comedy character or
than
something.
the men's Rumble. I feel like we should end
see The
this
Rock
segment
getting
on the
involved?
men's Rumble.
I
That
like to
works
end
for
on a
you.
low usually,
I
but
did
we'll
originally
try it
think
your
The
way.
Rock was going to win the Rumble.
The
I
only
can't-
other
I've-
non-Rumble
what I've
match is,
heard is that The
and
Rock
I'm
is
not entirely sure
gonna
what
be
this is going to
involved.
involve. It's Bray Wyatt against LA Knight.
the Mountain
in-
Dew pitch black
say
match.
that.
The Mountain
Oh, yes,
Dew
they
pitch
never
black
say
Yeah.
match. Wait, is The Rock
I don't know what a
involved?
Mountain
I don't
Dew
know,
pitch black
maybe.
match. It's a lights
I
out
don't know,
match.
if
It's
he
like an
wasn't
unsanctioned match, I
involved, they
see.
would
Right?
say maybe to get you to watch it.
I mean, can we assume anything at this point?
Yeah.
Basically, it's
It could be-
inconclusive.
It
guess
could
not.
be literally
It might not
anything.
be.
It probably
And I
is going to
hope
be
that-
dark. There'll be
I think-
lanterns.
I
Some
wouldn't be
spooky
surprised
stuff
if
is going to
he's
happen,
involved
and
in the
then.
show in some way.
I mean,
whether he's
if
in the
LA
Rumble
Knight
or
wins the first
whether he,
Mountain Dew pitch black match, it'd be really
maybe
funny
comes
if
out
he's
after
not.
Reigns retains the title.
Well, I do love LA Knight now. I've seen like 3 segments of him, and he's great.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think-
all of a sudden I'm quite sold
I don't know,
on him.
maybe if the
Whereas
Sami
before I was
storyline's
thinking, who
too
is this
good
guy and
that
what?
you don't need to involve The
Where
Rock
are they going
anymore.
with this? But yeah, I
They've
think it'll be
gone to save
interesting.
The Rock for next
I
year.
imagine it's going to be some sort of
Or
spooky
That's what
bollocks
I'm
match.
thinking.
I'd
with
rather
yeah.
Sami win the
torches
belt
and
than
like
Rock.
it's just going to be. It's not
If
going to
we
be
go
like
on to
a
our-
typical
the
lights
men's
out
Rumble
match.
prediction,
It's
who
going
have
to
you got
be
win
sort
the
of
actual men's
Do
the
Rumble match?
usual special effects and.
I'm gonna
I don't know how Mountain Dew
hold
comes
off on
into
answering
it.
that for a
That-
second.
If
that's
they'd have
what I'm
called
intrigued
it a
about.
There is
spooky
one more
bollocks
match
match,
that
I'd
is
be
less interesting
right into this.
than the men's rumble.
Because I'll be honest in wrestling, I love spooky bollocks.
On the men's rumble.
I like to end on a low.
Call it the Mountain Dew Spooky
Friday
Bollocks
night.
match, and I'm all in. There's going to be ghosts.
Spooky bollocks and wrestling go hand in
There's
hand.
going to
I
be,
would say.
you know, someone burning a house down. There's going to be some ghosts,
And
some
I'm not
puppets
entirely sure
doing.
what's going to involve. It's
Oh, that
Bray
would-
Wyatt
yeah,
versus
like
LA
the
Knight.
ghosts of Bray's past.
Eric Rowan can be there. Ooh. Oh, you're
I
shit.
don't know what a
Ah,
Mountain Dew pitch black.
you're not very good
It's
at all. I
that-
want to
it's
see
a-
you.
Then
I
what's
can
that?
Lights out
assume
match. It's like an
who you
unsigned
think
match,
will
I
win
see,
this
right.
one, but you never assume or you'll make an ass out of yourself.
Yeah,
It
I
could
mean,
be- it can be
that's
literally
how the saying
anything.
goes.
Probably.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
gonna be dark
Bray's
with
going to win, isn't he?
lanterns.
Almost certainly.
Spooky stuff.
Or is
gonna
he? Ooh.
happen, and then
Yes,
He is-
yes, he
he
will.
is gonna win.
Yes.
I mean, if
Uh,
LA Knight wins, the
I assume
first
you're
Mountain
in
Dew
agreement
pitch
there.
black match, like,
Yeah,
really
I'm not
fun.
gonna. As much as I like LA Knight and
I
him
do
going,
love LA
yeah.
Knight. I've seen like 3 segments of him, and he's great.
Yeah, I all of a sudden I'm quite sold on him, whereas before I was thinking, who is this guy and where are they going with this? But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I imagine it's going to be some sort of spooky bollocks match with torches and like it's just going to be. It's not going to be like a typical lights out match. It's going to be sort of
I do.
the usual special effects and. I don't know how Mountain Dew
I
comes
do-
into it.
If
That's
they'd have
what I'm
called it
intrigued
a
about.
spooky bollocks match, I'd be right into this. Because I'll be honest in wrestling, I love spooky bollocks. Call it the Mountain Dew Spooky Bollocks match, and I'm all in. There's going to be ghosts.
Spooky bollocks and wrestling go hand in
There's going
hand.
to
I would
be,
say.
you know, someone burning a house down. There's going to be some ghosts, some puppets doing.
Oh, that would like the ghosts of Bray's past.
Eric Rowan can be there. Ooh. Oh, you're shit. Ah. You're not very good at all. I don't want to see you. So I assume I can assume who you've got to win.
If they could find a way to get
Take one.
I was gonna say if they could find a way to get some sort of hologram of Husky Harris in the match, that
I
would
thought
be
you'd
amazing.
say Luke Harper then. I thought that's not in good taste. So I can assume
No, that was very much not where I was going. With
I can
that.
assume who you think will win this one, but you never assume or you'll make an ass out of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the saying goes. Yeah, I mean Bray's going to win, isn't he?
Almost certainly.
Or is he?
Ooh. Yes,
He
yes,
is-
yes, he
yeah,
will.
he's gonna win,
Yeah.
he's gonna win. I assume you're in agreement there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. As much as I like LA Knight and him going, yeah. Okay, and for the last match, it's the men's Royal Rumble. This is the most interesting match of the show. So who have you got to win this one?
You see, I'm very torn between Cody and Sami. I think both of them make sense as they're both viable winners. I think in terms of the storylines, I think both of them have every right to win it. It's just about whether they go for the sort of... I think the safest option is Cody, isn't it? I would say.
I don't know if it's necessarily safer. I think I'd prefer Cody Rhodes, just because you can work Sami into the title picture a different
That's
way.
true.
And have like 2 matches at WrestleMania,
Mm.
one each night. Whereas if Sami wins, Cody's got real no claim to being the champion. He sort of would turn up and be, well, I'm going to be the champion now. But
Yes.
you lost the big match the way you can fight the champion, so no?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Cody hasn't got an obvious way in, so him winning makes sense. The fact that they've announced him early is weird, though. That's making me question whether he's going to win it.
I'm now more convinced
reckon?
he will. Because it's like Triple H in 2002, was it? 2003? When he was injured and he came back they announced him for weeks, showing his recovery, and like Triple H would be back at the Rumble.
Actually, they did it with
He came
Batista,
back
didn't
and
they,
won
as
the
well,
whole
in
thing.
2014, so I suppose you're right.
That was more because they leaked it beforehand. Oh shit, we've got to announce it now, haven't we?
Yeah, that's true.
And everyone loved it. Everyone's favourite Royal Rumble.
I mean, it was better than the year later. It's got that going for it.
The 2015 one was actually really good up until the second Daniel Bryan went out. Before that, you had DDP, you had Bubba Ray Dudley, you had someone else,
Was
Boogeyman.
The Godfather in that one? Or was he in 2014?
He wasn't in 14, I think
Okay.
16 maybe. In 14, the only surprise ones were Kevin Nash and El Torito.
Yeah, that was my first night back watching wrestling for about 5 years, I think, or 4 or 5 years. And I remember thinking, who are these? I have no idea who half these people are. Every now and again, I'd hear like a theme that I remember and go, oh, I know this guy.
And you see the little bull run in, like, wow, this guy's my new favourite. He's great.
Yeah, I was devastated.
So who are you
when he
picking?
got eliminated.
So who are you picking for your winner?
I mean, the fact you've said Cody makes me want to pick someone different, so we've both got different ideas. I do agree with you, though, that Sami has a way in to the title picture without needing to win it, whereas Cody, I think, needs to win.
So I'll go Cody, you
Yes.
go Sami. And then,
I don't think it'll be anyone else. I don't believe it'll be The Rock.
I've got an outside pick of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He is actually fourth favourite if you look at the betting odds on Sky Bet.
Is he actually?
I mean,
Weeks ago, I was thinking, you know what, Steve Austin could win this. Set up Austin versus Reigns at WrestleMania. Give Austin the title. Give him a 4-year run as champion. Then he can finally put over Roman Reigns for the coronation he well and truly deserves.
does that match happen in Saudi?
Yeah, why
Yeah.
go on? Why not? Happens at
They'll probably be owning the company by then. Anyway.
or the Crown Jewel. Yeah, then he'll lose it to Mansoor. Or that fake Yokozuna they had that for the Rumble.
Yeah, I'm looking at the betting odds now, and it's like Cody's slight odds-on favourite, Sami's 2-1, and then The Rock's 4-1. But then there's a massive fall-off. You got Steve Austin, who I don't think will win it. Bobby Lashley, no. Logan Paul, no. Seth Rollins is probably the only one of the non-big two in this match that I actually think could win it. I don't think anyone else is even plausible.
Yeah, Rollins could win it. I can see that.
Jey Uso is actually the next name on here, which, I mean, no, but it's yeah,
But maybe.
it's better than some of the
Could be.
options. I can't think of anyone else who could win it. So in that sense, it's not the most unpredictable Rumble we've had, because was it the one that Nakamura won? That was one of those matches where like any of like 6 people could have won it.
Yeah, that was a really good
Same
one.
with the
That
year
was,
before
like,
as well,
really good,
when
that one.
Orton won, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2017. That was one where it was like 5 or 6 people could win. This one for me, it's 2 unless The Rock's in it, in which case it's 3.
I'd add Austin in. I'd say Austin add on to that, but that's just my
That would
view.
be hilarious, though. Do you reckon Stone Cold will enter first?
Okay, so
Stone
now we're
Cold
gonna
will be
move-
the Iron Man in the match for an hour and a quarter.
Iron Man, as in his bones are now made of metal
Yes.
from all his injuries.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Then yes, he will be Iron Man. Just say now we're going to move on to the final segment, the most anticipated segment by Matt.
I am on the
so
edge
far.
of my seat here.
It's the segment called "Oh God, my ears! Oh no, my God, please stop!"
Snappy title. I like that.
Snappy, catchy. So it's going to read. It's going to read you a little excerpt from a love story
Oh dear.
by author the vampire Lucinda.
Okay. Let's hear what
Interesting
Lucinda's
name.
got.
Written in 2007. It takes place minutes after the 2007 Royal Rumble match, which you'll recall was won by The Undertaker, last eliminating Shawn
do
Michaels. Do you want to hear the little blurb before I get into the real meat?
Is that a foreshadowing of things to come?
Oh, could be. Could be.
Yeah, go on then. Tease me with a blurb.
He was here the whole time, right before my eyes. Why can't I see? But how can I love him if I already love another? Of course, that was from the perspective of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Who else would it be?
We'll just go straight into this piece of literary fiction.
Bring it on.
He did it. He won. For the first time in his career, The Undertaker was the winner of the Royal Rumble. It hadn't been easy it hadn't been an easy win at all. Shawn Michaels was as tenacious and determined as he remembered, even though it had been several years since they'd been in the ring together. He put up a good fight, to say the least, as The Undertaker stood up slowly, reeling slightly from the 2 chair shots he had taken. He noticed Shawn Michaels sitting on the ramp, looking up at him. Their eyes met, and a feeling of mutual respect passed between them. The Deadman gave the Heartbreak Kid a small nod, watching as the smaller man walked up the ramp, obviously disappointed that he hadn't won, but being gracious in a way that surprised him. He's shocked by how gracious Shawn Michaels is. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know how to process this. I think I'm so nervous about what's about to come that it's hard to take it in.
Tough son of a bitch, he thought, standing tall in the ring and turning to face the WrestleMania sign that hung above him. I'd kill to get another shot at him. Shawn smiled slightly as the superstars crowded around him, congratulating him on the amazing battle with The Undertaker. I guess it was pretty cool, he conceded at last, drawing a laugh from the guys who stood around, still patting him on the shoulder. But I really wanted to win. You notice the lack of confirming who's talking.
I have noticed that.
Who's thinking?
I was hoping you do the voices, but I'm not sure what your Shawn Michaels sounds like.
It's not better than Undertaker, probably. Not. Now he's a fan favourite now. Brian Kendrick stepped forward, smiling.
This is getting good.
He's happy. I don't think it matters. You and The Undertaker were amazing out there. No one here wants to admit it, but you guys are the best out of all of us. So Brian Kendrick's a little bitch.
Why is Kendrick? Why Brian Kendrick?
HBK patted his former student on the head, chuckling like a dog. Well, I could have told you before tonight, he said, walking into the locker room to shower and go over the details of his match, as he often did. His phone rang almost immediately after he got in the locker room. It was Hunter, of course, congratulating him and telling him how he was more worthy of a WrestleMania spot than The Undertaker. Why? Thanks, buddy, Shawn said with a sincere smile on the phone. Hey, hope you feel better soon. Please, Shawn, this injury can't keep me down. You know that.
Believe that.
Ooh-ah. He said, with no note of who said it. The Heartbreak Kid laughed, feeling slightly better before saying his goodbye and getting into the steaming hot shower.
Steaming, eh?
Getting pretty saucy. As the water ran over his body, easing his muscles, he found his mind wandering from the Rumble to The Undertaker to Hunter, and then back to The Undertaker again. What a tough guy, Shawn thought, stepping out the shower and sitting on a bench, draped in a white towel. He's amazing. Wish we could have some more matches together, because there's no one even close to being like him. There's no one close to being like him, right here on Raw. As he sat, deep in thought, he became aware of a heavy silence outside. Everyone must be going home, he thought, slipping into a pair of blue jeans and a black tank top. He knows what Shawn Michaels wears. He does always wear those things on television. As he put on his brown vest, bold choice. However, he realised with a shock that he didn't have a ride home. He and Triple H had always rode back to the hotel together. Since the game had been injured earlier the month, Shawn had been riding with the last person to leave. But this time, judging from the silence, Evan was already gone. Perfect, the Heartbreak Kid muttered, stuffing his ring gear into his bag and walking out to the parking lot. The looks of things, even the ring crew had left. How long was his shower?
How did he get there?
They packed... Yeah, how did he get there? That's a good point. He just hopped in the car with the last fan to turn up. He was an hour late to the show. Making Shawn wonder just how long he'd been thinking about his fight tonight. So close to winning, he thought again, kicking a can and watching it skid off into the practically empty parking lot. Does he know it's not real? Has nobody told him? Need a ride? A deep voice asked softly from somewhere behind him. HBK turned around and saw the Undertaker standing there, still in his ring gear, hands on his hips as they often were. He'd been standing still for too long, or waiting for something. Everyone's gone home already, he said, black hair swaying in the gentle breeze. He's outside in his wrestling gear. Shawn smiled. Why, thank you, dead man, he said, taking a step towards the giant man and clapping him on the shoulder. I don't want to infringe on your patience, but thank you, I do need a ride. Is infringe on your patience, is that a phrase?
It is now.
No problem, the Undertaker said, shrugging slightly. We're going to the same place anyway. And you look like a lost puppy out there. He smiled as Shawn blushed slightly. Why? If you don't mind waiting a few minutes, I'll take a quick shower and change. You can wait out here by my bike, he concluded, indicating a black Titan. HBK whistled.
So they're riding back on his American Badass bike.
It sounds like it.
That is a mental image.
Nice ride, he commented, but I think I'll go inside with you. I don't like how cold it is tonight. Why was he outside in his gear? With that, he slung his bag over his other shoulder, motioning for the Undertaker to lead the way, and following him back into the building. Not surprisingly, they wound up in the SmackDown locker room, and Shawn Michaels made himself comfortable on a bench, while the Undertaker began to unlace his boots on the opposite side of the room. You were great out there tonight, HBK said, watching the other man closely for his reaction. Thanks. So were you. He looked up from his boots and shook his head. When I realised it was just us left in the ring, I knew it would be a great fight. And it was, of course. Shawn smiled. Yeah, it was. He shifted on the bench and crossed his legs. The other guys are saying that we're the best in the business. Of course we are. That's what I said.
The other guys,
laughed,
meaning just Brian Kendrick.
And now he's like, are we great?
Brian
yes,
said so.
I know. We have been here the longest after all. We had better be the best. The Undertaker nodded, moving both of his boots, but had stopped, folding his arms. Shawn noticed this and stopped drinking the water. What is it? Are you just going to sit there? The dead man asked, colouring slightly. I need to get undressed if I want to take a shower, you know. And I don't want you watching me. HBK felt his mischievous nature rising to the forefront almost immediately. Why not? What are you hiding in that singlet? He raised an eyebrow. Now we're getting to the meat of the situation. Fine then, he grumbled, after several minutes in which it was made clear that Shawn wasn't leaving. Just don't say or do anything, okay? HBK grinned like a child who had just gotten his way. Okay, no comments here. Very uncomfortably... I can't read this. Undertaker began to pull his singlet down, first baring his strong shoulders, then his well-defined chest, but stopped at his waist. How should I do this, he wondered, glancing at Shawn, who was most definitely staring. I don't want to turn my back to him, but I can't just stand full frontal. Ah, damn it all, I'll get him back for this. Now, what is he thinking that Shawn Michaels will do if he turns his back to him?
Honestly, I don't know. I just don't know what's happening.
Like, bum him, right? A surprise bumming. So, sighing again, he turned around and ripped off the rest of his singlet, quickly grabbing a towel and going into the shower. When I get out the shower, your ass had better be out of here, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker warned, hearing laughter as he turned on the hot water. That is a really nice bike, Shawn said as they headed to the Black Titan. Really changed his tune then, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Undertaker had showered fairly quickly, after chasing Shawn from the room, had emerged wearing blue jeans and a black sleeveless shirt. He looks really nice, HBK thought absently, watching him climb onto the motorcycle. He probably smells good too. I don't know. "Get on," the dead man said with a toss of his long black hair. Shawn obeyed, getting on very carefully, fitting comfortably into the seat, with little trouble. "Okay, now hold on to my waist, otherwise you'll fall off." HBK nodded and wrapped his arms on the Undertaker's middle, just in time to get a good grip before they were sped off into the night, definitely breaking some traffic laws along the way.
This is really getting dark.
Wow,
now.
what a... He'd never ridden a motorcycle before, and the feeling was exhilarating. "Woo!" he yelled into the wind, drawing a chuckle from Undertaker. "Now I know why you love riding these things." In a very short time they arrived at the hotel, thankfully in one piece. They stopped at the counter, getting their respective keys and climbing up the spiral staircase. "Thanks again for the ride, big man," Shawn said, holding out a hand when they reached the top. Undertaker took it with a smile. "No problem. We legends gotta stick together, right?" They don't say that.
No one's
they
ever
don't
said
say
that.
that together.
Not even once.
They shook and then parted ways as the rooms were on opposite ends of the hallway. "Mark?" Shawn called as he stood in front of his door, turned to see if Undertaker had heard him. So he accepts that wrestling is real. Right, they're fighting for real. But still, the Undertaker is not an undead mortician. So when you got buried alive for real, and just got better. So, yes, this is the first time you've had a chance to be near one another in years. The last time we did, we were beating the hell out of each other. I feel like I'm just getting to know you. We should hang out together sometime. The dead man nodded. "Sure, we have off tomorrow night. Want to go party?" HBK couldn't help but smile. "Okay, see you tomorrow night then." Shawn put his keys in the door and opened it. "Oh, and big guy?" Not right back as they were all hoping it would
thanks.
be. "Oh, and big guy? Yeah. Nice ass." Shawn quickly ran into the room and locked the door, laughing first at the silence, and then at the expletives that came from the other end of the hallway. So that was chapter 1 of the writing entitled "To Be Loved," which I presume was named after the Raw theme song at the time.
Yeah.
By Papa Roach.
Yeah. That's actually my favourite Raw theme song, as it happens.
And me. So what did you think of this body of work?
I really just... Wow. I feel like a changed man, in truth.
I mean, Shawn Michaels is a bit rapey, isn't he?
Yeah, it's slightly sus. I love how I love how it's like it's in full kayfabe. Taker's got his hat on, his bike, and then always it's like, "Hey, Mark." What?
Yeah. I bet he smells nice. What?
For me, my favourite part of it is the mental image of the two of them in like matching helmets on the bike. HBK's got his arms around his waist.
Yeah. And then just shouting out, "Nice ass," like after you've been just staring at his ass the whole time. Like, you're not being subtle. But it's clearly not. It's not one of these where they just put in the names to a generic one. They've really gone all in with the. You don't get Brian Kendrick involved unless you know what you're talking about.
That's some niche wrestling knowledge there to know that of the entire 2007 roster, that Brian Kendrick is the one that they rely on for for motivation.
And to know that Shawn Michaels trained Brian Kendrick as well. These are clearly big fans of Shawn Michaels and even bigger fans of The Undertaker's arm. I think we'll leave that one there. Thank you for listening to the first episode of the Atletifo Wrestling Podcast. I've been your host, Hamish.
I've been Matt.
And we'll see you next week to go over what happened in the 2023 Royal Rumble.
I just saluted, but you couldn't see it.
Pardon?
I just did a salute, but you couldn't see it because there's no camera.